My name is David Lefkowitz. I am a professor of music composition and theory at the UCLA Herb Alpert School of Music. My new CD is a double album of 2 books of preludes and fugues. The first book, which is 13 preludes and fugues, is for regular piano. The second book is for prepared piano. So I began this composition in March or April of 2020. I wrote 1 fugue, prelude and fugue, and liked it enough that I said, I'll write 2. And then over most of the rest of 2020 during COVID, I wrote a total of 10. And then I said, well, if I write 3 more, I have C, I've got C sharp, D, D sharp, E, etc. I can go all the way back to C, so I wrote a total of 13. And then having liked that enough, I said, well, what can I do to top that? What if I destroy the piano? I was already destroying the idea of what a prelude and fugue is. So I now decided to destroy the idea of prelude and fugue for solo piano. So this is just a regular piano. This is my 1916 Steinway A3. And the first thing I'm going to do is put this little string here as an anchor. This first one is the easiest because underneath this is the cast iron frame. If I go down too low, when I play it, it'll rattle, but there's no chance of doing any damage, so very easy to put in. The bass strings, I'm inserting between this pair of strings, but I'm positioning it so that it's above a gap between 2 other notes in the strings below, so that there's less likelihood of them touching. So on this side of the dampers, you have to be careful of the action. I want to make sure that the hammer doesn't hit the chopstick, and it doesn't. So as you can see, these big ones that are used for cooking, they have such a high center of gravity they can be really unstable. So you want to push them farther down into the string to make them more stable, but then they hit the soundboard, so these are very tricky. So here's the fugue from Prelude and Fugue number 2, subtitled Bells from Book 2, without the preparations. So you can hear each one has a very different sound. I think these are probably bamboo. These work pretty well. Which is that? As opposed to these, which I think are balsa. So there's. But my favorite for sure are the ones with a lacquer. And this one, which is. And that one. And these two. I also use these golf keys, which are kind of fun. Most of these where there's 3 strings, and I have 2 chopsticks, I have them held together by a rubber band to help stability, but also so that they don't rub against each other. I love the sort of electronic sound here. So these are just regular old kitchen sponges that I've rinsed carefully. I've put a notch in between. The notch here allows me to put it at a node. So for example, I think that's at a node. So this is a group of 4 decks of cards wrapped in tape. Wrapped in tape to keep together, but also to keep the package from vibrating itself, which I didn't want. But if you put this on the strings, it covers a total of 4 strings, and that is a little bit like a bass drum sound. So these are jingles from a tambourine, and I use this to create a sort of tambourine sound, tambourine-ish sound. So this is a lamp pull chain. If you rest it on the strings, then the amount of vibration depends upon where you put it. If you put it over here, it might start to get a little bit obnoxious. Right at the edge, it sounds a little more gentle. It reminded me of Eastern European instruments like zithers or dulcimers that have a little bit of buzz, like a cimbalom, which made me think of Eastern European klezmer. So I used 2 different types of preparations for 2 different klezmer-inspired pieces. One uses the pull chain, one uses snares from a snare drum resting on a sheet of paper, just to create this buzzy edge. For those of you who are interested in doing this to your piano, I have a doorstop wedge shoved in so that the damper pedal is always down. Because when you spread the strings apart and then you put the dampers in, it can damage the dampers. So the dampers are up, the pedal is down, but also you have to be very careful when you push these in that you don't hit the soundboard.